We got the Ancient One on Comic Book Canon! That's right. Dan De La Torre is in the house as our special guest co-host. He's kind of like our Billy Preston to the Beatles. I brought that up many times. But yeah, it's all good, all good, all good. You know what's all good is my good friend and co-host, Christopher. What's happening, hot stuff?
Yo, man. Represent.
Atari. Yeah.
Yep.
Why are we representing Atari? I have no problem with it. It's just a surprise. I didn't know you were going to do that.
No, well, just because I haven't worn the shirt in a while and I'm wearing it today. I think it's the first time I'm wearing it on the Canon, so I just wanted to age myself and let everyone know that I still have my original Atari. And while my kids bug me to play, PlayStation and Xbox and all that, I'm like, go to the Xbox game store and download Pac-Man, and then that's what I'm
playing there, so. Heck yeah, absolutely. Well, then screw it. I'm representing Jimi Hendrix as we're all old as love. You know what I mean? So why not? Why not? We have a few things to say. First off, y'all better be here by the end of the show because Dan De La Torre will be giving away this Iron Man number 25 for our weeks-long 1K sub giveaway. So super excited about that. Also, Chris, we're gonna remind people throughout the show tonight, we are closed for business next Sunday. Sorry to say, we are taking the weekend off. I have a work engagement I can't get out of, and we kind of need the mental break as well. Fresh from the comic shop, submission will be put on hold until March 28th. Feel free to send your submissions, but we will only start counting them after March 28th. Again, we'll remind you throughout the whole show. All right. That being said, Chris, we got some big news, but just not a lot of news, right? Yeah. So why don't we just get right into it right now? We'll just because I'm so psyched to see Dan De La Torre, and I hope I kick him off the show at least once or twice. And I'm sure the audience feels the same way as well. But Chris, we had a Miss Marvel trailer drop. I was super psyched for that, man. I've been looking forward to this one for a long time. It's yet another corner of the Marvel universe that we can all be excited about to see. And honestly, it was definitely different in terms of the trailer. Mm-hmm. First off, I just want to talk about this poster. How gorgeous is this poster? Not only because of her looking out from Jersey City into New York City, but I mean, it's an homage, a direct homage to Miss Marvel number 5. I love this, Chris. I absolutely love this. And I'll be honest, like, I liked the trailer. I did. I'm excited to see what happens. I think it was very divisive, this trailer. I think it's been very divisive in terms of what her powers look to be. In my opinion, let's just wait and see. Your thoughts, Chris?
On the poster specifically?
Let's just talk about the trailer.
Okay, so on the poster, I agree with you. That's another one that I would love to have in my 11x17 movie poster wall. We'll see if I can make that happen. The trailer I just thought was absolutely amazing. It kind of touched me, man. I was like, this is something I'm absolutely looking forward to. I'm not over here. Look, I'm not going to sit and lie and say I'm a Kamala Khan fanboy, because I was never really too into her character in the comic books. I liked her as a person. But this is why, to be quite honest, I was never really a Reed Richards fan, because I just wasn't a fan of the cartoonish powers, and it wasn't anything about their personality. It's just seeing that cartoonish stuff on paper. I want something that's more realistic. So when we're looking at maybe they're kind of altering their powers there, look, I'm all for the MCU remaining grounded. And, we'll go back to the Ryan Reynolds Green Lantern film, and now taking out just all what people thought was bad about that film, but just looking at how he used the ring, when he would make the big projections of the fists in the trains or whatever. It's just like, it didn't, it didn't feel right in a live action. It felt too cartoonish. So maybe Marvel is just sitting down and looking at those points and doing the best they can to work it into something that is still grounded, yet obviously science fictional and superhero genre.
I mean, it's obviously cosmic. She says it's cosmic. she's an Inhuman, and who knows? Marvel may want to tread lightly in terms of what the first representations of the Inhumans were on that horrible show on ABC a while back. Who knows? They're obviously changing things around from what we can see by the trailer, and we'll see. I don't know. People are saying they're the Negabands from Quasar or what have you. I don't know. But honestly, I'm cool with the trailer. I'm excited about this series. I'm super psyched, again, about the Marvel Cinematic Universe expanding even further. And I'll just tell everybody, just give it a chance.
Yep.
Chris and I are going to be the first ones to say, hey, that was not good, if it wasn't good. Yep. I'm hoping it's going to be good. Yep. Okay, moving on from there, though. Guess what, Chris? One of my favorite films is Back to the Future.
Yeah, me too.
And I love Dr. Emmett Brown. And for those of you who don't know Dr. Emmett Brown, shame on you, because Christopher Lloyd is coming to The Mandalorian Season 3. That's right, Dr. Emmett Brown. What? The Hollywood Reporter, they reported that Christopher Lloyd, a.k.a. Dr. Emmett Brown, for those of you who don't know, I said it again, was on the call sheet for The Mandalorian Season 3. They're speculating this character is guest starring in Nature. So I wouldn't think this is a big kind of Star Wars character to start thinking about who this could be, but it does bring another talented, well-known individual, Christopher Lloyd, into the fold, and I'm excited to see who he's going to be. So that kind of surprised me.
Yeah.
Chris?
Yeah, man. I think anybody that grew up, during our time, Christopher Lloyd is an icon, and just to see him, I don't care. This is for me. I don't look at this and like, oh, let's speculate on comic books. I'm just excited to see him have a role in Star Wars.
Yeah, super excited. Again, they had some interesting people that have already guest starred one episode here and there. So I'm psyched to see them continue this on. Okay, moving on to some more quick hits. We have George Lopez. George Lopez joins Blue Beetle. That is right. The Wrap reported that comedian George Lopez will be joining the growing cast of the Blue Beetle, joining Zolo Mariduena in the lead. Chris, he's again an established actor. I'm psyched to see that they're growing this out with well-known people and to give it more credibility. That's all I have to say about that.
Yep, ditto.
And here's the last again, guys. It was a big. Miss Marvel was the big thing this week, but it was very light in terms of news. Sydney Sweeney. That's right, Chris. This is your story right here. Why don't you go to it?
I'm excited about this. Anything regarding the Madam Web film, I'm hyped about. And we did get an announcement from Deadline that when they broke the news last week that Sony will be casting Euphoria actress Sydney Sweeney in their upcoming Madam Web film. Now, there are no other details nor statements made about the casting or who Sweeney might be playing. But, of course, the speculation and rumors have begun. They're already flooding in, and collectors are going absolutely crazy, speculating on who she might be playing and what books might be worth picking up. The most popular rumor is that Sweeney will be playing Black Cat, which is, it's very possible. Others have speculated that this could be a Gwen Stacy version, version, variant of some kind from I don't know what universe that becomes Spider-Gwen. Given the connection to the spider totem in the cross-dimensional web that Madam Web sits to protect, I actually think that right there is even more feasible possibility than Black Cat showing up in a Madam Web film. Because, Jeff, I have my own personal theories that Felicia Harding will be showing up in the next Spider-Man film as a love interest for Peter Parker. So I personally don't think that this is Black Cat just yet, but I know darn well Sony is itching to get to all these characters. So we shall see. Who do you think it might be?
I mean, perfect call out would be Black Cat, but I'm seeing some interesting things in the comments right here. C to the G, Silver Sable would be quite interesting, wouldn't it?
Yep, and that goes to the other casting of the Foreigner.
Yep.
In the Craven film. So you got those connections there.
So I find that I don't know. We'll see. I still don't know what to think about this Madam Web film. We can all be proven wrong. I think you're excited about it, but I really don't know. But I do know she's a great actress. She was in there's an HBO, not Euphoria, another HBO Max show, and I cannot remember the name of it.
But
she was excellent in that as well. All right, and that there ends the news. Quite kind of slim pickings right there, but still some interesting stuff. Let's say hello to everybody in the chat right now, though. Marvel Goddess 418, what's up? Tishu, we just gave you props. Caleb Leland, aka Cable Leland, in the house. C to the G, we said hello. Dale McNown, Peter Thornton, Tommy Fleming, you're damn straight. Back to the Future, best movies ever. Damn straight. Bronze Age nerd. Kaboom! It's the Canyon, y'all. Damn straight it is. Louis Logix is at work, but he's going to watch in the rewind. Hopefully, I'll hear about the prize I won. Now, who else? Lowbrow Ephemera. We got Fight the Good Fight. We got Jacob Merch. He won our 1K last week, I do believe. Miguel.g.comics. Spider Dude. Who else? I'm sure a lot of the others will be joining. Jordan Nori. We got, nice. We got a good crew. Good crew in the house to see our good friend Dan De La Torre. I mean, what more? Matt Stadge, of course, aka Watla, and Mylars Morales.
I like it.
Great man. That is a great
Jeff.
name. Gary Woods, what's up?
I know we're gonna be bringing on our awesome special guest, but do you want to you bringing up Back to the Future? You want to hear a really quick story?
I absolutely do, because I love Back to the Future.
So, when I was a kid, my dad got a new Ford truck, F-150, and we went to the dealership, and I went with them and went home, got to ride with them in the new Ford truck. And I don't know if you guys remember, but back then in the 80s and in the 90s, Ford used to give out a sampler cassette with, random compilation of music with their new vehicles. And on this cassette was the Back to the Future theme song. And I took that cassette, and I remember every time we would go like camping or somewhere and we'd bring our bikes, I would have my Walkman with my headphones, and I'd put that song in, and it'd be on replay, and I'd be riding my bike, listening to that music, and I was pretending that I was Marty McFly and just, cruising through time and space. So I just had to share that. Good
you know what? The soundtrack is in my head. The themes. It's magical. It's magical 80s right there. And I did not do it any justice by trying to sing it to y'all. I'm going to tell you a quick story. Today I was at the park with my daughter, and she met this little boy. They're talking about superpowers, and this boy goes, "Love is a superpower." I was like, "That's right. They made a song about it called The Power of Love." Huey Lewis in the News from Back to the Future. There you go. All right, comes full circle. Moving on, though, right here, right now. Everybody. You know him. You love him. Dan De La Torre. He's our Billy Preston, as what Billy Preston was the Beatles. He will be giving away this Iron Man number 25, CGC 9.0. At the end of the show, he's got a trivia question in his pocket. But everybody, please welcome back, good friend to you, me, and Chris, Dan De La Torre.
Jeff, Chris, always a pleasure to be on this show.
Happy to have you, even though you infuriate us, and we'd like to kick you off multiple times.
I'm ready to be booted anytime. By the way, a couple things. Back to the Future. I was looking up the day that was mentioned. I could be wrong about this, but it says October 26, 1985. I was in the theater that day when that date was mentioned. Somebody said, "Hey, wait a minute, that's today." And anyway, awesome. Just one of those weird little things. I happen to be there. It's
that is weird.
It pays to be old. It just is. In fact, you know what? I saw this saying on a T-shirt.
Though? Do you monetize for being old? Does it pay? Like, seriously?
No.
Okay. I'm just trying to get at what you meant.
I just saw that this saying this morning. I'll see if I can remember it. It said, "I can't act my age because I've never been this old before." I don't know how to act my
Interesting.
Yeah. So
well said. By the way, Tony Trumpet is in the house. As you know, EGS Comics, they sponsor Fresh from the Comic Shop. We have a nice fresh get for you this week this month that we'll be showing you again. We'll have our championship this week. You'll have the two semifinalists going head to head, and then you'll have your two finalists going head to head at the end of the week. So, anyways, what's up, Tony? All right, I had to say something here because you are a guest co-host. As you know, normally you go through the interview process. I'm doing this on the fly, Chris. I kind of brought it up, but screw it.
You're probably just searching for another way to just get Dan kicked off here.
Come on, you think that of me? You really think that is the type of person I am? Because I can just do it, and I did. Listen, Dan De La Torre, the best Cubs player of all time. Who is it?
Ernie Banks.
All right, Chris, thoughts?
I'm not going to argue that at all. When I was growing up, my favorite was Ryan Sandberg.
Yes,
but
yes.
you can't, don't skank on the banks.
All right. Moving on. Then you made it to become a guest co-host on Combo Cannon again.
Since you bring it up, by the way, he's one of the retired numbers in Wrigley Field. Forget the others off the top of my head, but there's one guy who should not be retired as a Cub, and that's Greg Maddox. Maddox's best years were with the Braves when he won the Cy Young. When was it? 94, I think. Then he went to the Braves and won the World Series. But his best heyday years were as a Brave, and then he came back as a Cub as sort of not a has-been, but he wasn't the Greg Maddox of old, and they retired his number. As a solid Cub fan, that's one number that should be removed from Wrigley Field.
That's interesting because I knew he was with the Cubs, but he's always been a Brave to me.
Right.
Interesting. I didn't know that his number was retired. By the way, Peter Thornton wants you to kick me off. That's fair. That's fair. All right, guys, we're just going to get into the show, guys. We are going to get into the show. It's a little bit of a light week again. Slow news week, and Dan's just a staple here, so we're not going to do the interviews. He's already been kicked off once. And you are getting crazy comments, Dan. How's it going, Dan? My fellow Defenders lover. All right, moving on here, because guys, each and every week we take a look at the top 10 look back. That's right. Props or flops, the top 10 look back. I'm sorry. It's been a rough week. Where we take a look. Chris, you explain the segment because I'm not doing so well right now.
All right, guys, we are looking at last week's top 10 hottest comics of the week. We are looking at 3 hot picks out of that list, and we're going to do a 1 week later look back. We're going to talk about the numbers that those books were trending at when they made the list, and we're going to look at what they're doing right now as of today, and I'm going to be giving them either props or flops.
That's right. But first, we're going to start off with the top 10 hottest books from last Monday. That's right. Almost a week ago. Here we go. We're just going to get into it, right, guys? Here we go. And at number 10, we had DMZ number 1 that just premiered on HBO Max. At number 9, we have Timeless number 1, Mark Buckingham 3rd print. At number 8, we have Batman number 2. At number 7, we have Darth Vader. Number 6, the first full appearance of the Grand Inquisitor, which we saw in that amazing Obi-Wan trailer. At number 6, we have Star Wars, The High Republic Avengers. Number 2, the first full appearance of the Big Bad Marching Row. At number 5, we have Captain Carter. Number 1, the animation variant. That thing, I love this cover. At number 4, we have Batman number 28, the first Harper Row as Bluebird. At number 3, we have King Conan number 3. At number 2, we have the spectacular Spider-Man 116, the first appearance of the Foreigner. We brought that up a few minutes ago. And at number 1, we got West Coast Avengers number 46. All right, an interesting week. I'm kind of surprised DMZ made it in there. That was like a slow burn, and then maybe it's just a hot burn, people realizing that it debuted on HBO Max. But Chris, let's get your thoughts.
All right, guys, I got 3. Very excited to talk about these 3, to be quite honest with you. So let's just get into my first pick. My number 3, Darth Vader, number 6. All right, guys, this is the first full appearance of the Grand Inquisitor. We got the Obi-Wan trailer. Oh, my goodness. I can't wait for the show. All right, let's look at what this book was doing when it hit the top 10 last week. It had 161% upward trend in sales, with last week's high 9.8 sale hitting $600. This week's high, 9.8, hit 490. Now, okay, that's a little bit of a 18% decrease in value right there. But as I say, focusing solely on highs isn't always, a proper measurement of the market. Now, let's look at these average raws. Last week's average raw, when it hit the top 10, $126. This week's average raw, $115. That's a nice little 9% decrease right there. So to me, that's saying that this book is still roughly trending around the same value. Now, I know that $110 decrease in a 9.8 could be quite alarming, and you guys sit and say, "Oh no, it's already plummeting." But look, I've been talking about this a lot, and we'll probably be talking about this for months to come. The 9.8 market. The 9.8 market is still booming, and it's still a thing of its own. It's its own beast. It has its own catalyst to propel these numbers up, no matter the book sometimes. So this is also indicative of the reactionary behavior of how we are reacting right now. Now, I got called out last week because I gave one book flops, and I said that there's a lot of FOMO here. We're reacting to these things, and people came out and just said, "Oh, well, people just like to buy stuff and they want to have it first." And I'm like, okay, that's fine. It is what it is, but I'm not sitting here throwing salt on the wound. I'm being honest with you all, because I know that there's probably people watching the show right now that can raise their hand and admit, I've been in a situation where we get an announcement of a show, or we get an announcement of a character or a casting of a character, and I get on my phone, or, and I'm going on eBay or whatever it may be, and I get down into an auction and into a bidding war, and it's a bit reactionary. Sometimes you may regret it. Sometimes you can live with it. That's just the nature of the beast. And it is a fact right now. If you look at the trends of how we are reacting to all of these types of announcements, we are, unlike ever before, as a whole, really jumping on anything when it comes to live action. So the 9.8 market, that type of reactionary behavior, it just takes one or two people that bid that book up to $600. Maybe people calm down a little bit. That's why the high was only $490 this week. But again, if you look at the raw sales, this book's trending. Now, I'm going to give you guys props or flops, but then I'm going to explain a little bit of why I'm going to give it what I'm giving it. And I am giving this book props. I'm giving this book props because I truly believe in Star Wars. I truly believe in the totality of what Disney and George Lucas is doing, Lucasfilms is doing right now with the Star Wars brand, building this Star Wars universe and fleshing it out way past what we've known with the original players in the original trilogy. I think that these books with these first appearances are going to be solid long-term investments. It doesn't mean I'm not giving this props saying, yeah, that's right. Go buy it. Go buy a 9.8 for $400, $500, $600, or go pay $126 for a raw copy. I'm not saying that. But what I'm saying is I do believe there's staying power for these books, for these characters, because the fandom of Star Wars, I do believe, is unlike anything else. And Jeff, you and I have talked about this before. I think that the comic book side of the Star Wars fandom has been overlooked for a very long time. And what the Disney Plus shows have been doing to bring people back in, I think is really opening up the fandom to the comic books right now. And although this book may see some ebb and flow depending on what happens with the Grand Inquisitor in the Obi-Wan show or in the live action verse, I think long term it doesn't matter, because long term I think these books are going to hold.
I agree 100%. I was hoping you would not say that, but I am 100% on board with you. It's Star Wars. This has been a hot character ever since he appeared in the Clone Wars. I think a character like this, I think a character like Cad Bane have lasting staying power, and it's going to dip between now and May. This book, no doubt about that. I would not spend I would not spend $500 on this for a 9.8. I would not spend $115 on this for a raw. I mean, if I, you know, they're out in the wild, guys, and you could probably find them for $30 out there. So
I will add real quick too. Again, when we focus on these 9.8s, here's another modern book that if you are going to spend a lot of money, you know, I still would spend $100 on a high grade raw, hoping to get the 9.8, then spending, you know, $500, $600 on a 9.8 copy.
Yeah.
But just adding that to your point, Jeff, again, you can invest in this book. You can find interest in this book and just collecting it, and you can still invest in this book without spending that kind of money, because it's not always about the near perfect 9.8 type books, guys. Comic books, a specific issue of a comic book follows trends for the most part. If a 9.8 or a high grade is increasing by 30-35% on the market, then, you know, the lower grades are going to be increasing as well. So
agreed. Dan, we need your thoughts. We know you're not the biggest Star Wars collector, but what are your thoughts in terms of you know, the broader picture with Star Wars, if you have any?
Well, it seems like the Star Wars fans are a very particular group, and they know what they're looking for. Very much like I used to be as a Star Trek fan with Gene Roddenberry back in the day. I knew what to look for, and I got completely away from it when J.J. Abrams took over the movies. They were awful because he has no idea what Star Trek is all about. So Star Wars is sort of in flux right now, both in the comics, in the movies, and in Disney Plus. I think they seem to be leaning finally back towards what Star Wars fans are looking for overall. But to Chris's point about the 9.8s, you know, you get a comic because you love the story. Let's say you find a beat up copy that's maybe a 5.0, but you love the story, you still grab it. It's not going to be worthless. So I wouldn't split hairs if you don't find a perfect comic out in the wild. Get whatever you like, and again, if you're paying a couple bucks for it and it brings you happiness and value, go ahead and do it.
That's it right there. 100%. We're going to move on to the next book, but before we do, Prince Zodiac was calling us out. He said, "What's happening, guys, all day today? I thought it was Saturday. I was about to let y'all have it for being early, but sadly it was me." You're right. You have a great night, too. Catch us on the replay. Thank you so much. Well said, Dan. Everybody, if you haven't subscribed to us, you may as well. And if you haven't hit the like button, you may as well. Do it right now, because we like you, and we would subscribe to you if you let us know where to subscribe. No doubt about that. Shop for Comics. Hey, all. Hey to you. All right, moving on. Chris, your second most interesting pick off of that list in terms of props or flops. What do you got?
all right. Had to pick some Spidey action, folks. We got my number 2 pick, Spectacular Spider-Man, number 116. Why did this? Whoop, that's not the one.
I gave it away. Damn it! I am off my game tonight. All right, go ahead. Sorry, Chris.
All right, because they don't know what I'm going to say. Spectacular Spider-Man number 116, folks. This is the first full appearance of the Foreigner. And for those that don't know, or that do know, we did get a casting announcement for the Foreigner for the upcoming Craven film produced by Sony. So this has obviously got people going to the eBay, going to their stores, picking these books up. So let's look what it did last week. 150% upward trend in sales when it hit that top 10. The last week's high in a 9.8 when it hit the top 10, $300. This week's high, there was none. There was no 9.8 sales, folks. So we can't really gauge what's been going on there. Now, let's again look at the averages. So last week's average raw when it hit the top 10, $30. This week's average raw, $38. So that's a 27% increase in value. Again, averages, you got to, take them with a little bit of grain of salt, especially for raw books. It doesn't paint the entire picture of what somebody is paying for a specific grade, but it does show you that this book is still moving, and overall, people are paying more for this book right now, just by a little bit. Here's the thing with this book. Spider-Man is obviously one of the most popular and one of the most highest grossing superheroes of all time. And when we talk about Marvel, he is that number one for Marvel. The Amazing Spider-Man is, in my humble opinion, the Grail run of all Grail runs. And Amazing Spider-Man books from the Bronze Age going into the Copper Age, even if they're not keys, are continually rising in value and being sought after more and more. Spectacular Spider-Man is that second tier because it falls second to the Amazing Spider-Man run. But there is still a lot of goodness in it. And for folks that haven't read the Spectacular Spider-Man, that was an amazing run from beginning to end, from 1976 to when it ended in the mid-90s. But
agreed.
Yeah, but outside of the story, I still Spectacular Spider-Man as a title doesn't, as common issues go, doesn't hold as much weight as the Amazing Spider-Man's. But this book, because of it being a Spider-Man, late Bronze Age, early Copper, actually, I do believe this was in 86. I absolutely believe that this book has a lot of great potential past movie spec. Okay, so props or flops? Again, I'm going with props for this one. It's very similar to what I said about Star Wars, and I'm just reiterating and repeating myself here. It's Spider-Man, folks. It's Spider-Man. You actually have a classic cover of Sabretooth and, black costume Spidey. I do believe this is a very early appearance of Sabretooth as well. So you got that going for it. And then you got a character like the Foreigner. Yes, this character can show up in this film. They could do them well. You never know with Sony and their properties. We don't know what's going to happen. So I would still, even though I'm giving this book props, be cautious with this book as well. Don't just go out, paying top dollar for this book. Search your all of your options. Go on eBay. Search your, Mercari. Go to your local shops. Search the back issue bins. See what's out there. Because if this Craven movie flops, people are going to turn their heads from this in the short term. And this book can dip back down. Now, I don't know what this book was selling for prior to the film, to this announcement for the film. But, it's never going to be a dollar bin book. I don't even think it was beforehand. I could tell, actually, I know it wasn't prior to this. But just be careful. Long-term value, though, again, anything Spider-Man with the first appearance like this is going to be a solid book in the long run, no matter what happens with the live action component.
Yeah, I agree. This is a great it's Bronze Age book, right? It's this to me. I don't know why.
Early Copper.
I'm sorry.
No worries.
It's just a classic. It's like a classic cover. And like the fact that it's the Foreigner's first appearance, which could be something, I don't know. That's just, that adds more to it. But again, an early Sabretooth appearance, a great cover of Sabretooth versus Spider-Man. I mean, I'm all in on this too. I agree. Dan, I'm not sure what your thoughts on this are, but we'd love to hear them.
Well, first of all, there's going to have to be a reclassification of what Silver Age, Bronze Age, and Copper Age is.
I knew Dan was going to get into this one.
I'm sort of a one-man band regarding pushing it because I was there in the Bronze Age buying them. We didn't call it Bronze Age as I'm taking it off the rack. But with this particular book here, I guess it does pay to be old because I have it, and I paid 75 cents for this, and I haven't read that comic in over 30 years because it is an over 30-year-old book. But the whole run, as you say, is very, very underrated. And that's what's fun about getting all these comics here, because now I have to dig through my bins to find it, because when a comic becomes popular, you never know what's going to be what the MCU is going to be coming out with or what they're doing. That's the fun thing about collecting all these. But these Peter Parker stories were underrated for several reasons, not just story, but the artwork. I think John Romita did a lot of the artwork along the way.
Sal Buscema. Sal Buscema,
yeah,
the longest run on that. I think it was from the early 80s. I forget exactly to like issue 230 something in like 1994.
He was one of the mainstays. Al Milgrom was another one. Sal Buscema still remains my favorite artist to this day. But
oh really?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
That's Dan Torre trivia we did not know. Interesting. This run, you had like Tombstone, introduced Tombstone. There were a lot of cool things for me collecting. When I started collecting, as a kid, it was I didn't know any different. There was Amazing Spider-Man, Peter Parker Spectacular Spider-Man, and Web of Spider-Man. I didn't know any better. That was it. It was
and Marvel Team Up.
And the team
well,
up.
I didn't see that as a true Spider-Man book. I didn't
Really?
collect it.
Really?
I mean, I didn't collect it. I was a kid. I was just going for Spider-Man. It didn't say Spider-Man on it. I didn't collect it in the title. But yeah, so again, I'm glad that these books are getting their love because I was all in on all three of those series. So again, it can't hurt to get it. Even it's going to dip down once the news dies down about Craven because they're in production. You're not going to hear as much. We'll see what happens, but it is definitely interesting, 100%. All right, your final book, Chris. I don't know if people are going to know what it is. It could be a surprise because I don't know if they have any clue as to what this could be for any reason prior to me showing the other image first. But let's just do it. Let's go for it.
All right, my number one pick was number one on the top 10 this last week. And that is West Coast Avenger.
Oh, what?
Number 46, the greatest book of all time. This is the first appearance of the Great Lake Avengers, the greatest team of all time. All right, no, seriously, though, let's look at what this book did. Then we're going to get into props or flaps. 214% upward trend in sales. Last week's high 9.8 when it made the top 10 list, $365. This week's high 9.8 as of today, $300. All right, now, this is what I want you all to pay attention to. There are only 3 sales since... Oh, by the way, for context, folks, why this book made the list. There was some sort of leak, all right, from the She-Hulk set, and now there's a rumor that one of the Great Lake Avenger characters might be showing up in the She-Hulk show. Now, keep in mind, rumors. It's all rumors. Nothing's confirmed. We don't know. So people are going ham. They're going crazy trying to find this book. It was number one. It was number one on the list. So I had to throw that in there. So keep that in mind and let's look at this. Only 3 sales since the leak. 2 of them were buy it now at $365, which was the high, and $350. The other one was an auction, and it had a $300 starting bid, and somebody won it off of one bid for $300 at that starting bid price. All right? Keep this in mind. There were no sales of this book in a 9.8 since January 20th of 2020. That was over 2 years ago now. And that sale was $126. Now, keep in mind, even just with inflation and the way the market's been going, you got to take that into account from that 2-year-old price. Now, I'm going to talk a little bit more about that, but let's go into the average raws. When it hit the top 10, it was an average raw about $20. This week, as of today, this week's average raw sitting at about 18. So not much change at all there, folks. Now, prior to the leak, the average high raw was about $15. There were some scattered, lower sales for like, $3, $4, $5 here and there. But overall, the average was about $15. So here's my take on this book. It made the number one list. Or excuse me, the number one on the top 10 list because it did move units. Because that's what we use, Cover Price's top 10 lists, and that's how they track and place their books. Units sold. But it still didn't sell that many units. And it just goes to show that there wasn't that many units selling prior. And if you look at this here, when you look at the raw books, the price hasn't gone up extremely high, So I'm kind of not mad at the fact that people aren't, jumping all over this book and paying $100 for a raw copy, right? I mean, that's not happening. I do believe there was one outlier that sold for $39. I think that was the raw high, the week that it made the list. But, who knows? Maybe it was the eBay listing that said CGC at 9.8, and somebody got in their feelings and was like, oh, I got to go for it. Got to pay double of what what everyone else is paying. Who knows? People aren't going super crazy, at least bidding this up to some crazy astronomical numbers. But let's look back at these graded prices. there was only a few. First off, there's only about 42 9.8s on the census, and there's only been 3 sold over the last 2 weeks. The ones that sold for buy it now, especially that first one, the first one that sold was the high, $365. This tells me this. It tells me that maybe somebody that got it for around $126 a couple years ago heard the leak, heard the rumor, and was like, well, shoot, let me put mine up on eBay. And they set an asking price because they were like, I'm gonna set an asking price where I can make a profit, and let's just see if people bite. And guess what? Somebody did. And that's why I believe this book sold for $365. Not because supply and demand essentially brought it to a market equilibrium price that is a fair market value. No, because there was only one for sale. The seller put it in a buy it now, and one person got the FOMO. And again, point fingers at me saying, oh, you're just an anti-FOMO. No, I'm not. FOMO is real. It's a fear of missing out on things. This individual maybe just didn't want to miss out on this book. And they just said, I got to have it. I'm going to buy it. And they bought it. And then a few days later, one other one was listed at a buy it now of $350. So let me tell you what might have happened then. Maybe this was another person that bought their book for $100 or whatever. One of the 42 people that had it CGC years ago or whatever. And they're like, oh, here's an opportunity for me. One just sold for $365. Let me put mine up. I'm going to put $350. And just to be safe, one other person, all it took was one other person to say, now they're looking at buying, they're looking at recent sold. They're seeing a $365. And what do people do? Where I tell people, don't do this. Don't look at single sales. Don't look at outliers. Don't look at just one sale and use it as a marker of fair market value. So maybe just somebody said, oh, it sold for $365. There's only one listed right now. It's going for $350. That must be a steal. I need it. Boom, buy it now. But when somebody else said, oh man, I see this book is moving now. We got 2 sales for over $350. Buy it now. I might get more than that. I'm going to do mine as an auction. And somebody else says, I'm going to make money off this. They put it for an auction. Starting bid, $300. It sits there for 7 days. Nobody bids. Until the last minute, you get one bidder in because there's one other person, just one other person that says, let's look at recent sold. Oh man, it's selling for $365 and $350. If I put a $300 bid in, man, I'm getting a steal. Nobody else wanted it. Nobody else wanted it. That individual wanted it. Good for them. They paid $50 or $65 less than the 2 other random individuals that, needed it now. So all it took was for 3 people to have a little bit of fear of missing out to make this book seem like it's larger than it is. But I'm going to tell you, folks, because there was no other bids on that auction, guys, this book should not be selling even for $300 in a 9.8. So I don't want to sound, what's the word? I don't want to sound rude. I don't want to belittle anyone. Look, I hope these 3 individuals are happy. I really do hope they're happy. I do. But I will say this. They got duped. And that's just my personal opinion. I would have never paid that much. And if those 3 people didn't have a little itch, I guarantee you those 3 books would have been sitting on eBay probably for a lot longer. And the sellers would have probably had to say, well, maybe I have it too high. Let me work down my price to see if I get anybody on the hook. This is why it's important, folks, to be sound buyers. This is why patience, more often than not, does pay off. You got high raw copies of this book selling for $20. $20. That might be potential 9.8 candidates. $300 for this book is a no-no. Props or flops, I got to give this one a big, juicy belly flop. because I just look. I mean, I'm not saying. Who knows if some of these characters show up in the MCU? We know that the MCU at this point could do anything with their properties. They could do horror, they could do spy espionage, they could do cultural pieces, historical. They could do absolutely anything when it comes to the genre exploration. And we know with She-Hulk, they're taking a whole different tone. Maybe they can bring these characters in and have fun with it, and it's exciting. But I just don't see this book have any real staying power whatsoever for this book to be a $300+ book and a 9.8. $20 for a high raw, though. I'm not mad at that. I am not mad at that at all. So that's why I said everyone bidding and buying the raws, not too shabby. That's okay. But in terms of this book overall, the graded books, I got to give it a flops.
I'm with you 100%. I do want to explain something here. This is a John Byrne creation. We talk about loving John Byrne, but this is a tongue-in-cheek group. It was meant to be funny. Like it was meant. I see people. The lady's name is Dinosaur. The other dude's name is Flat Man. Like it's all tongue-in-cheek, and it's ridiculous to be ridiculous on purpose. So take that with a grain of salt because She-Hulk is going to be tongue-in-cheek. She's going to be breaking that fourth wall. She's going to be having fun, doing some fun things. So. Is there any substance to this rumor? I don't know what the leak was. I didn't see it. I've heard a variety of things about it. Somebody wants to tell us in the comments what it is. But it's within the realm of possibility. But what Chris said, hell no. Guys, $350 for this book, please. Unless you think it's valuable and worth it to you, okay, that's fine. Chris and I always say, if it's worth it to you, go for it. But my God. If you're on the fence and you don't know, no. Dan, please expand on that.
I was thinking about this. Jeff, Chris, how we can make a fortune. We should start our own gossip and rumor mill. We'd make a fortune because this is another example of why this comic market is not crashing. There's still so much interest just by someone's rumor. They got, who knows where that got started out here.
Yep.
I've seen that cover before. I may have it. And if I did, I paid 75 cents for it, so I got my money's worth. I wouldn't pay much. I don't remember the story. But again, it all comes down to content of story. In fact, I was going to save this for later, but I'll bring it up now. Everyone knows I'm a huge Defenders fan. And the reason why is because the Defenders were a great story, especially in the very beginning. And then they went to the wayside because of bad writing. The same can be said, however, of the X-Men. Because think about the X-Men. When you think about the X-Men, what do you think about? Storm, Colossus, Wolverine, and all those great stories. Jean Grey, the Phoenix, and so forth. That almost never happened because, if you remember, X-Men started fantastically in issue 1. It went all the way to 66, but the sales went down, and they went into reprint mode, rather, because they didn't have any new stories. And that series almost went to the wayside like the Defenders. If a man named Chris Claremont had not come and rescued that series, we would not see the X-Men as we see them today. So think about that. There would be no Storm. There'd be no Colossus. There'd be no Nightcrawler. Wolverine would be a fraction of what we see him today. Why? Because one man had a great ability to write stories. That's what I see about the Defenders, by the way. We didn't have such a person like Chris Claremont saving that storyline. But I mention that because I'd have to go back and read that particular West Coast Avengers book. If the story's great, fantastic. If it isn't great, just let it be.
I don't remember what the story. I got this book. I was diehard into West Coast Avengers. I was because John Byrne I didn't realize that artists look different until I looked at his art. I'm like, wait, this is different. So that's when but I don't remember the story. I do know that it was, again, tongue in cheek. It was meant to be funny. So
I will say one. Oh, sorry, Jeff. Did you?
No, go.
Okay, I was just going to add to Dan's point about starting the rumor mill, and Dan, it's a great point because, and I've said this before. It's like, just folks, if you guys, read a few comics here and there, explore Marvel Wiki, watch some YouTube videos. If you guys we're talking about Marvel. This could be the same with DC too, but obviously Marvel's the one with the MCU right now that is just been so successful and is so expansive right now, and they're not slowing down, right? So we use them as the prime example, but there are so many characters out there that if we just know a little bit about the characters, a little bit about the stories in the books, we can sit here and speculate on so many characters and books that nobody's even talking about right now and get them for decent prices, because more likely than not, a majority of these characters at some point in time are going to show up in the MCU. I mean, look at, and this goes back to how we're jumping on things. And like you just said, Dan, the interest is so there still. Look at what happened when, Ethan Hawke's character got a name of a character that is a nobody that had one appearance in a comic book.
One in all of history of Marvel.
And this comic was like a $3, $4, $5 package game, and it was selling for $150. So it's crazy because, and I tell you all to take heed, because I could sit here, and this is why, now we're kind of getting off topic, but I do want to make this point before we wrap up the segment. I'm sorry, but I do not like scoopers. Not personally. I'm not saying I hate anybody personally, and there's probably some great people out there, but it's so cutthroat nowadays, and most of them don't even have inside connections, and they just start their Twitter account or their IG, and they make a little meme, and they say, this character is confirmed to show up, and they're pulling it out of their ass, and it's creating this intense FOMO with people. And also it's allowing people to not be able to differentiate between credible sources and non-credible sources. So the reason why I had to bring that up, because I go back to this is just a rumor, folks. So while it's one thing to be ahead of the game, like if you were speculating on Great Lake Avengers saying, I'm going to buy these books for cheap before anybody talks about it because I think they're going to show up in the MCU, fine. But now, if you think you're getting ahead of the curve because of a rumor and a 9.8 selling for $350, you're missing it. You're missing it. So.
Well, it also goes back to Jeff when last time I co-hosted, because Chris, you were sick, if I remember correctly, and we brought up the Hulk 156, the Bill Murray spec. Yeah. That was just a rumor, and that book just exploded. Why? Because it was Bill Murray. But here it is. Where we March of 2022. We're all still waiting for Mephisto. He's not here yet, right? Remember that rumor? Yeah. So take it with a grain of salt.
It's now a meme. It really is. So many good, guys. There are so many good comments here, and you guys are all spot on. And I think everybody here, we're all thinking the same. Just be careful. Do your due diligence. If it's a book you really want and think you can't get it for cheaper than that, then buy it. And if it makes, as Dan says, if it makes you happy, it makes you happy. But just do your due diligence and kind of weigh the pros and cons of paying $350 for a book that literally could be out there for $1,
right?
Still, right now, and really doesn't have much upside. Leave it at that. And that right there, the top 10 look back props or flops. We'll have a new list next week, and 3 picks from Chris that are props or flops. Good job, Chris. Excellent as always, guys. We do this segment. Here it is. Oh, by the way, let's see something, Dan. Dan, tell us about this image here. What's going on here? What is this?
Oh, this is the giveaway here? Are we doing it now? Or do it?
No, just tell us a little about it. What you're, and we're going to give it away at the end of the show. People have to be here in the live audience.
Let me show this here.
Oh, okay.
Bring this up.
Let's do that.
For all the giveaways I'm giving, I always buy a raw copy for everything. So this was already given away to Gary Woods. Gary, you should get yours probably tomorrow. I'm sorry it took so long to send that out.
Amazing.
The first appearance of Justin Hammer. And this is this would be the next one we'll be giving away. I don't have the slab in front of me, but this is the one we're giving away today. This is the raw copy. This is the slab itself. Now, this is Iron Man 25. I read this. I'm embarrassed to admit, for the first time myself this past week. This was an outstanding read because this is a standalone story. This is one of the ways that we were talking off air that they could bring the Submariner on in the MCU just by this one story. These stories are so good for Marvel. You can just literally pick up a comic. It's a script. It's a script already written. And so this is one of those great stories. So whoever wins this slab here, do get yourself on an inexpensive reader's copy because it was worth having. So again, Marvel, I continue to say this. It'll go down in history. When Disney bought Marvel Comics, it'll be the greatest purchase in entertainment history because they bought over 80 years of storyline script all ready for them to go.
It's so well said. Absolutely. By the way, speaking of Disney and the MCU, we got somebody that called it out. The thing is, what we do here, guys, is we ask our guests to what movie they want to see on in the background, and I think Dylan Allen got it as the first Avengers film. I can't find your comment, but I'm positive you got it. So good job, it is. In fact, the first Avengers film. Dan De La Torre requested that. So again, we don't have a prize for that, but you, honestly, man, you got it. All right, moving on, Chris. We do this segment each and every week. People seem to love. We give away prizes. Can you just what is it?
I am. Nah, it's not about me. Fresh from the comic shop.
Live from the pressing salon. That's right. Each and every week, we ask you all to share your fresh gets with us. They have to be new in your collection, but they can be 2 days old or they can be 30 years old. Doesn't matter. As long as your fresh gets, they're in your collection, show them off to us. Put them on IG, Instagram. Put them, tag us. Hit us up with the FFT. Swing S, and we will show them off here on this segment. And not only that, you can win prizes. That's right. This segment right here is sponsored by EGS Comics. One of the top grading experts out there, but also they're transparent. They do a good job at that, but also extremely creative. It's not your just standard little kind of slab, because let's just get, for example, Chris, what we're giving away for the March win here, right? What is it? Batman 93. Look at that. Look at that custom slab right there. The colors, the Joker in the top, up there in the top right. And, they just do a fantastic job, and it's just something that it differentiates from the market. They are stepping outside of that box and doing something cool. Tony Trombetta, we thank you for being a sponsor on this segment, Fresh from the Comic Shop. We'll be giving this away by next week. Now, in order to win Fresh from the Comic Shop, you must follow EGS on Instagram at EGS Comics. All these directions are down below, by the way. You must subscribe to EGS on YouTube. That link is below. And you submit your fresh get on Instagram. One more thing to say about EGS. Not only are they giving away a book, every month, but they're giving y'all 5% off on your order by using the code CANON5. You can't lose. You absolutely can't lose. But before we get into your submissions, before we pick a semifinalist, we're going to tell you what the criteria is. Because our judge, Dan De La Torre, he knows it by heart, but we're going to refresh his memory. Chris, let's get into it. What is it?
All right, guys. You want to make sure you have an awesome presentation, solid picture. Add some stuff in there to make it really creative.
Creative.
You want to be unique. It doesn't have to be a $2,000, $1,000, $20,000 comic book. It could be something that's just unique or special to you, and tell it in the story. Add something in the description. Talk about the book. What makes this book important to you?
100%. Dan De La Torre, will you be taking notes?
I will be. I got my camera ready to go. That's how I memorize what's going on. By the way, EGS has the best cover labels in the business. Those are gorgeous labels.
Whereas Tony Trombetta is in here, and I know he's said some cool stuff. He said BAM. I don't know why he said BAM, but it's cool. Anyways, moving on. By the way, Gary Woods thanked you, Dan, for that slab as well. All right, moving on. Here we go, everybody. Here we go. Let's get into your fresh gets, because I know y'all want to see what everybody else has. It's so much fun. We love it, too. We're going to start with Marvel Man 616 Comics. What do you got? We got. It's not coming up. That is a problem. There we go. We got Amazing Spider-Man 545. The marriage of Peter and MJ is erased from history by Mephisto. First appearance of Lily Hollister. Later becomes Menace. First appearance of Carly Cooper. Later becomes Monster. Variant cover art by Joe Quesada. I mean, this cover, I love it. I love it. He sent a lot of submissions in, but this one I really, really do enjoy. By the way, I was wondering where Azor's Tiger was. He is right here in the chat. Good to see you, friend. Absolutely good to see you. Good stuff indeed. All right, moving on. We got Bobzilla Throwing up my Hulk #1 from 2008 in honor of William Hurt. You played a hell of a General Ross. That's easy, sir. That is a shame. What a talent. Just a talented actor. Really good. Seemed very humble as well. But that's a great homage to William Hurt. Good stuff right there. Sicilian Comics coming up with Mystery in Space #94. Sicilian Comics, you really have a diverse collection. Would love seeing what you got. Love seeing it all the time. Oh God, I made a mistake, everybody. Justin, aka Saul Marshall 007, is not gonna like me. But I do like the submission. And I just failed him. Here it is. It's gorgeous. I mean, Dan, you're like, hell yeah. I know you are, Dan. But as Saul Marshall says, by the hoary hosts of Hada, I just got my hands on a 10-issue lot of Strange Tales, which crossed off some key issues on my 2022, 2023 hit list. Strange Tales 111, 114, 115, and 115. Not only did I find some huge Doctor Strange keys in one purchase, but the seller sold them well under fair market value, in my opinion. I can keep the issues I want, sell the others to make my money back. The others were Strange Tales 100, 102, 103, 108, 112, and 113. That's in the second picture. And I did not show
I got it right here.
All right, bring it up, please. Hold on, Chris. I'm bringing you full screen. Yeah, there's apologies, Justin.
Kate.
I'm loving this first picture, though. I mean, that's getting creative, everybody. Perfect example of getting creative. So again, and then he ends it up. There's some tape on the spine of 111, but it still looks so clean. Thank the Vishanti. Well done. I mean, that's the stuff we love seeing, people. That is the presentation. That is getting creative. Well shot, well lit.
But pardon me as I wipe the drool off my mouth.
Exactly. I knew that would be right up your alley.
All right.
Hey, so speaking of drool, Dan, what do you got for your first fresh get of the week?
Oh wait, I sent it to you, the one from last week. You should still have it.
I failed you, Dan.
Let's just skip over mine, and I'll tell you why. Because this is running joke in the chat that I'll be the very last person ever to win anything, because I want everyone to win first, because I never have the time to put the real effort into it. So,
well, Dan, I showed yours last week, though. Did you send another one in?
I did.
I'm the worst. All right, we'll get that.
It's still there. It's probably still there.
We'll get it. We'll get to it somehow, some way.
Do I have it in a PM or?
No, it's probably all right. It depends. We'll look for it. All right, next, moving on. We got Into Oblivion. Amazing Spider-Man #10, the first appearance of Spider-Punk, aka the Anarchic Spider-Man, aka Obi Brown. Spider-Man of Earth 138, foul-mouthed teenager Obi Brown became a spider totem after being bitten by a spider irradiated by illegal waste dumping. He proclaimed himself as Spider-Man and began to fight for freedom alongside his new friends, Captain Anarchy, Carl Morganthu, and Hulk, Robbie Banner. Good stuff. I love this cover too, guys. I'm loving this cover. Love. All right, moving on. We got Son of Comics. This is a gorgeous cover. Gorgeous cover, everybody. Age of X-Men, Apocalypse, and the Extract. #1, David Nakayama and 150 variant. I'm sending this off to get signed and graded at CGC. Wish me luck on a 9.8. I don't care one way or the other because this is a beautiful book. I pray for no damages to the book while it goes on its journey. Yeah, I love that cover. 100%. Chris, your first fresh get of the week. What do you got?
All right, guys. So again, Jeff, I'm doing a little. It has to be. I couldn't just pick one of these books. Okay, it's a set of 5, but it makes sense. So
listen, man, it's your show too, and you always redo the rules. So
yeah, I mean, look, if Saw Marshall can post 20 amazing Silver Age Strange Tales, then right?
True, fair.
I recently came into a collection, and there is a set of some 10-cent goodness, some Charlton 10-cent goodness from 1958, issues 1 through 5 of the U.S. Air Force. Now, the thing that makes these even specialer is these books are in like very fine near mint condition. These books are freaking almost perfect. There's a couple of little spine ticks on a couple, like this one right by the staples, but that's it. and I am going to give them a press too. So there's issue 1. I love this cover. Issue 2. This is just, it's flawless. Like, if, guys, I mean, let me take the, let's take this out of the bag real quick to show you guys how flawless this are. I mean, look at this. There's one little spine tick. There's a couple that don't break color. I'm going to press it out. Look at this. This is a book from 1958. And look at just how, I mean, look at those sharp corners. Look at that.
That is gorgeous, man.
I mean,
what's the back look like, Chris?
I mean, of course, it's got a little bit of tanning and whatnot, but look at those perfectly sharp corners and edges. I mean, I'm just blown away that these were in this good a condition. You know,
yeah, man.
Off-white in the pages just because of age, but yeah, and then that was issue 2.
Matt Labno, I got books from 2022 in worse condition.
Right? Issue 4, just perfect condition.
Wow. Good stuff.
Issue 5 is the worst one. It looks like it got some real bad tanning right up here. So, but all the others are like just, oh my gosh, pristine. So very happy to have found these.
Absolutely. Good stuff, man. By the way, I want to say we got Shop for Comics. I guess that's a play on Shop for Comics, saying he just sent his submission in. Guys, the cutoff is 5 p.m. Eastern time, the day of the show. So you can usually count on that. Apology, Shop, because we have to remind you as well. We are off next week. I'm just going to bring it up, guys. I'm just going to bring it up. Nope, that's not up. We're going to give that away later. But we are off next week on the 27th. We'll be back again on April the 3rd. And submissions for Fresh from the Comic Shop will be put on hold till the 28th of March. So just reminding you guys, a little housekeeping there, just reminding you. All right, moving on. Oh, by the way, guys, Dan De La Torre did submit it to me. Dan, if we can get you to talk about these 2 books, go for it.
Oh, yeah. That is, those are also something I got off the rack here. That store 311 and 312. That is the first appearance of the New Warriors, and it's, again, they weren't a big deal until just recently. But the Marvel seems to be going with youthful characters and youthful teams, like the Young Avengers is probably the best example of that. So those are things you can find not in a dollar bin, but you can find them out there in the wild. And I'm just happy to have both comics. It only cost me whatever the cover price is. What is it, $1.25, $1.50? So yeah. I guess it does pay to be old.
I just had issue 411 on my top 25 for under 25.
Yeah, that's a good one, man. That's definitely a good one. All right, good stuff. Moving on, though, we have Cover Junkie Comics. Where are you, buddy? Where are you? You're here, right here. I mean, come on. Guys, come on. Fresh from the Comic Shop, or should I say fresh from EGS Comics Pressing Salon, as Cannon would say, with Marvel Superheroes number 20. Enough said. Yeah, enough said. And look at the mix, how well balanced it is with Tony's slab, the EGS Comic Lab. Chris, Dan, I need your thoughts on this right now before I pull it down.
It's so clean. I like the simplicity in the label to go with the book. I think it works well. I think something like this works really well for these older books that are more about those solid, colors, and next to like new digitally enhanced or watercolor type cover arts. I'm not saying EGS does amazing jobs with those, but I'm just talking about the simplicity of just the green and black with a classic green and black cover like this.
Yep. And by the way, look at everybody just loving it too. Dale McDown, I got this book. I need it in that slab. Love this so much. Good stuff. That's a good example of what EGS brings to the table. Not like any other, grading company out there. And it's gorgeous. All right, moving on. We're going to do me, guys. Gonna do me. All right. So I went to a store I haven't been into in a long time. The dude is super cool, and I found some cool things there. I'll always pick up this book if I see it, and I'll pick it up for cover price, even faster. And this is Swordmaster number 1. This is the first series for Swordmaster. His first appearance is in New Agents of Atlas #2. But I mean, for cover price, you can't beat it. He is definitely going to be a character now that he is Iron Fist. Spoiler, sorry, it's been a month now. Now that he is the new Iron Fist, you know, I wouldn't be surprised if he made his way to the MCU. He's a very popular character, and I'm glad I found this. So that's my first fresh get of the week. Not as impressive as Chris's. Chris, I bring that up all the time, don't I? I'm like always comparing to you. It's just, you know what? You always tell me, do your thing, man. You always pump me back up. So as I say, too, it's like it could be 2 days old or they could be 30 years old.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, sorry guys.
I'm still jealous you have the Timeless Miss Minutes cover. That's a gorgeous cover. I missed out on that. Now I'm gonna have to find it when the price finally comes down, which may be a while.
I got that at Newberry Comics, which all the hot books goes under the radar there. I don't understand.
Wow.
I don't understand. Like they had that Werewolf by Night #1. They had 5 copies after it blew up to $50. You know, the going price is $50. And that thing, you know, it was a year old and it's still sitting on the shelf. Anyways, just want to throw that out there. That's where I go to. Moving on, we got Neil Floyd 79. Where are you, buddy? All right, Neil Floyd 79. I got these back from CGC yesterday. These are the first ones I have ever sent in. Batman 108 came from a blind comic stack sale from Jim's Comic Cavalcade. Thanks to Comic Haven, Kentucky for sending them in for me. That's good stuff right there. I love this cover. That's a foil cover, and Comic Man Andy loves foil. That's the thing right there, by the way, guys. So, yeah, that's good stuff there, Neil Floyd. He also had 2 other submissions as well. There's no one. Guys, what do we think about Mark Lineker? We love him. I think he's here tonight. I saw him. He had a Fleetwood Mac comment, which I love Fleetwood Mac as well. But this is fascinating again. Yet another nugget of history, comic book history. Here we go. In the summer of 1987, DC tested out a logo for newsstand issues to try to attract younger readers and presumably to capitalize on Superman's upcoming 50th anniversary. The test logo was used only at the Firestorm 61 and Justice League #3 in select cities. I had never seen the Firestorm issue, but stumbled across a sale recently. What I didn't realize is that it wasn't just a different logo, but a completely different cover. As you can see on the right, that's the original cover. On the left, that's the one that they in the test market. I like the variant better. Had this been successful, we would have seen a whole subset of newsstand variants from DC and likely Marvel too. I just learned something, and I hope you all did as well. That's fascinating. Look at the difference in those covers.
Have you guys had Mark on your show before?
Mark wanted to re-gift his winning from Fresh from the Comic Shop. And we asked him to come on, and he declined. Doesn't mean he won't. I don't know. I wouldn't mind having him on so we can ask to see Mark.
This is a man who clearly has a lot of knowledge, and I think I'd love to hear what he has to say.
Yeah, definitely. Mark, feel free to answer in the comments or hit us up on DM if you're not comfortable with that. But we'd love to have you on the show. No doubt. But there's no question about that. No question about that. Moving on, we got 360 Comics. Dang, and I know somebody here appreciates this. Dang, this is a beauty. My local comic shop. We got a bunch of stuff in this week. But the one that jumped out most to me was this Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle Avengers #1 from the 3-issue limited series. This is a major quadruple key featuring the first appearance of Bebop, Rocksteady, and Krang, in addition to the first comic appearance of the Turtles in their colored masks. I've been wanting to add this to my collection forever, so I pounced on this high-grade newsstand copy when I saw it. I grew up on the show and can't wait for the Seth Rogen animated film that's been announced. Good stuff there. Good stuff indeed. Chris, your second fresh get of the week. What do you got?
Well, I picked this one out just for Dan. I'll take it out of the bag. The bag's a little wrinkly, so I'll give you guys a better look. But this is for you, Dan. We got Tales to Astonish #75. Yeah. I know you love your TTA, so I had to bring this one out. Just really cool. Another overlooked run, I think, for a long time, similar to Strange Tales, and I think this is another one. So very happy to have pulled this out of a collection. Really nice glossy book too. It has some color breaks down here and everything, but
that's nice, man. That's a nice get.
I have that, but it's really low grade, beat up copy. Just a total reader's copy. That is a pretty. I haven't seen one that pretty in a while. Look how vibrant the colors are on that cover.
Yeah, the colors are, like I said, yeah. There's a couple of big color breaks like right down there, but yeah, I mean the gloss and the colors is just pop. It's clean.
Yeah, that is a nice get there. Nice fresh get indeed. All right, let's see some of these other fresh gets from you fine people. Where are we? 360 count. Nope, neighbor to the north. At that amazing haul from the card shop. This had to be my first appearance Friday. This whole run is amazing and littered with first appearances. Issues 6 and 12 are new to the collection and certified fresh from the comic shop. Guys, I think this ship has sailed. Kanan it's hot, super hot, especially 1 and 6 are super hot. With Sabine probably coming to the Ahsoka series. Number 12 just caught hot again because that's a cameo of the Grand Inquisitor. I love this series. It's a great read. I loved Rebels watching that also. So it's a nice what's the word I'm looking? It's a nice companion kind of volume in terms of the way it enhances the overall story of Kanan. So I can't recommend this enough. If you see him out there, get him. No doubt about that. No doubt. So good pickup there, neighbor to the north. Good pickup indeed. Nori Jordan. Do we have some Thunderbolts? Yes, some Thunderbolts. Well, at the risk of being predictable, I was able to pick up some great Thunderbolt books. I grabbed some ratio and variant covers I needed to complete my Volume 1 run. I'm only 2 variant covers away from having this done. I also picked up another number 1 newsstand and a number 1 second print to add to my stack. I also picked up 22 random copies that are duplicates, but for $15, I couldn't say no. On to next week. Take care, everyone. You take care as well, Nori Jordan. Good stuff. Good stuff indeed. Who else we got? We got Automatic Comics. He was our guest co-host last week. Very nice guy. I'm sure this guy was just stressed out and lost his head. We've all been there. But looks like that qualified physician will take care of things. That qualified physician looks like that face creeps me out. So the Haunt of Fear is definitely an aptly named title for the book. Good stuff. I mean, Automatic Comics is ridiculous in what he gets. Absolutely ridiculous. All right. My second fresh get of the week. I went to my local comic shop today as well. I had 1 book in the pull that I didn't even ask for, but I only had 1 book. I also picked up some books for my daughter. We were there together. She was super psyched. My local comic shop's like, hey, you have this. This is your only book. I didn't ask for this. He's like, you asked for all of Jeff Lemire, which I don't remember saying, but I'm glad I got this. Little Monsters. It was sold out at his shop. Picked it up. Was like, yeah, why not? Okay. It's only 1 book, and I spent the rest of my money on my daughter. But this looks cool. Love Jeff Lemire. Psyched to read this. Psyched to read it indeed. All right, moving on. We got, who do we have? Nukes Comics. I recently picked up Sword number 9 Boomerang Comics. I missed the debut of this series, so I had to pick up this copy to see if the series is worth going back to pick up the previous issues. I don't know anything about the series, guys. I can't say either which way. So, but I'm glad he's dipping his toes and being a risk taker is what we call it. Being a risk taker, indeed. Chris, you almost gave away, I think, your third fresh bet. That was close. Nukes Comics. I'm sorry, Captain Steve Rogers 4. Thanks to my local comic shop, I have a fresh from the comic shop, 4 Union Josh comics, and a Webhead weekend for Marvel 7080. With Amazing Spider-Man 163 from December 1976. Thank you both for the tag. So nice of Wilson to help Peter move. Look at that. I mean, that's like, honestly, you know what's cool about Hawkeye? Just the new look of the Kingpin. He like literally epitomizes his moves epitomize this. He's not like super bulky and unrealistic, but like, anyways, good pickup there. Captain Steve Rogers number 4. All right, Miguel.g.comics. Where are you? Straight Sales 167, an iconic Steranko cover and the first cover appearance of Contessa Valentina Allegra de la Fontaine. I can't say. A toast to this book that I've been chasing for a year. Congratulations on that. Look, he's got the liquor there. I don't know what that is, guys, but it looks expensive. So good stuff, man. Good stuff, Miguel. Chris, your third fresh get of the week. What is it?
All right, guys. This is a personal holy grail.
Oh,
I really, this is one of those that, I mean, it's not like Amazing Fantasy 15 or anything, but you know, when you think about an individual book and the money that you would have to pay for an individual book, I thought it was out of my reach for the most part. But that's the fun thing about buying collections, because you can obtain a Star Wars #1.
congratulations, everybody. Good stuff, man.
It's you know, it's definitely got some wear and tear. I call it a 4.0. It can definitely benefit from a press because it's got a lot of finger crinkles, a lot of spine deep, you know, spine ticks, color breaking out in, and then a lot of color breaking down here. But I'd say, you know, it's a nice looking, you know, very good copy. You know, maybe very good finest on a very good finest, a very good minus on a bad day. But I'm gonna press it up. I don't care. I'm happy to own this book. It still looks absolutely beautiful.
Good stuff, man. Congratulations on that. 100%. I had to check to see who the finalist is for this week coming up. I just want to throw it out. Neighbor to the North with his Coyote. I just wanted to throw that out. So there are going to be 2 semifinalists going against each other this week. The winner is going to go up against Neighbor to the North. All right, moving on. We got Raw Dog Comics. This is no joke. We just received this signed CGC 9.8 Ice Cream Man 28 from Image Comics, number 11 of 400. Signed by Miguel Mercado. Adding another slab to our fine art slab collection. The Joker is super excited to have this one in the collection as well. To us, it's all about the art and the artists that bring these comic books alive. Thank you, Comic Book Canon and the community, for the love and support. Raw Dog Comics is almost at 2,000 followers. Keep an eye out for a 2,000 follower giveaway coming up in the next few months. Remember to collect what you love and be nice to each other. Guys, follow Raw Dog Comics on the Instagram and you may win something free. Hey! And look at that Joker. I guarantee you that was a Joker he painted. Good stuff, man. Good stuff indeed.
Wow. That's really creeping me out.
Look how creepy it is. It's really creepy. That's how good it is. All right, moving on. We got Macross Plus Comics. This is a great find. Best dollar bin find ever. A new comic shop opened up nearby, and the dollar bins haven't been picked through yet. I came back with a healthy stack, including the first cover appearance of Darth Maul. Goodness gracious. Good for you with that dollar find. That is great. And finally, our last submission here. Serge Henderson, a.k.a. 080879 Lions. Hope everybody had a good Sunday, and make sure you take a nap so you can keep reading. Thank you, Jeff and Chris, and thank you guys in the comic book community. Now time for my nap. So this is Weapon Spider-Man #1. That's the first appearance I cannot remember of the first appearance in comics of the kid from Iron Man 3. He's in some thing in Disney as well. And so, anyways, okay. But that is that. Now, you, Mr. De La Torre, you have a decision to make. But before you do, I'm going to show you my third fresh cat of the week. Give you some time, some breathing room. Why not? So as I was saying, I stopped by that shop I hadn't been to in a while. That was yesterday, not my local comic shop. Went through the back bins. And again, can't believe I found this book. But here we are. I'll pick this up every day for cover price as well. Werewolf by Night #1.
Nice.
It's another one. Yeah, I mean, guys, pick these up if you see them, because there's a Halloween special coming out in October, obviously. And it's probably going to be this Werewolf by Night, Jake Gomez. So keep an eye on that. They may have confirmed that. I'm not sure. I got to check that out. But keep an eye on that and pick these up if you see them. They're going for $30, I think, online. Anyway,
and what, did we still have it for cover price?
I got it for cover price. Yeah.
Wow.
I know. The dude was super cool. We were just talking about like NBA, NCAA tournament, talking about music, and just anyways, it was a nice, fruitful stop. So, anyways, Dan, you have a responsibility here.
Before I throw out my top picks and some runners up here, a huge shout out to the chat here. I've made so many great friends in this chat here. Jordan Norrie, Saw Marshall, among others, Peter Thornton, some really, really great people. And so I can't thank you enough for being very kind in the chat. So,
by the way, you never have to apologize for being late. 360 Comics is on like 2,800 shows a week, and he's apologizing because he's late to here. Come on, dude. Stop it. And you also be following him. His link is down below. He was wearing a sweet Claude Giroux jersey that Claude just got traded to the Panthers. Anyways, moving on. What do we got, man?
Well, let's see. Because we've had so many winners. The people I'm going to bring up, you'll have to tell me if they are if they qualify or not. The first one on the runner-up list is Bobzilla with his Red Hulk. Yeah. And he kind of, I don't know if Son of Comics was jealous of that, because that's right up Son of Comics.
You're right.
MO. I thought who that's what it was at first. Is he qualified?
I do believe he is.
Okay. Because the other runner-up is Cover Junkie Comics, by the way. I love the EGS slab with the Doctor Doom, and the color is just perfect. Not only does the slab complement the comic itself, he's got a green character that I can't really make out on the top. Oh, that is Doctor Doom. Of course it is Doctor Doom. So that would be the other one, but I got it. The winner would be, and I don't know if this guy qualifies or not, Saul Marshall. That is a gorgeous, because of the costume with those gorgeous comics behind them. If he didn't have the costume positioned in the way that he had, and the little light, shoot, I'm drawing a blank on that. That's a Doctor Strange image, that yellow golden light in the background. Mm-hmm. I love everything about that picture. So that would be my first choice.
And Saul Marshall 007 will be moving on to the semifinals, going against our semifinalist from last week. So congratulations there. And, he had that second picture that I didn't bring in, and he still is moving on. So good stuff indeed. Good stuff to everybody. Y'all, thank you so much for sending in your submissions as you do each and every week. We're going to go through this one more time, because right now it's already set in stone. One of three people will be winning this gorgeous EGS slab. Batman number 93, the 9.8 customized slab. But, we're going to have a new slab for April, right, Chris?
Oh, yeah. I cannot wait to see what it's going to be.
We're going to have a new slab for April. We will announce that on April 3rd, which is going to be our next show, not next weekend, but the following weekend. But, guys, if you're not following EGS on Instagram, if you're not following EGS on YouTube, you are not eligible to win, even though if you've moved on to these semifinals and finals. So we're going to keep an eye on you. So make sure you smash that like button or follow button or subscribe button, what have you. Make it happen. Those links are down below in the description. Please. And again, we're looking for, in terms of the books, we are looking for how unique the shot, well composed the shot is, right? How well composed the shot. Get creative. As again, Dan, tell me if I'm wrong, but this is a pretty creative shot here that Saul Marshall 007 put together, right?
That's a gorgeous shot. I doubt if he did that in one take. He probably had to make several takes and several different angles to get the right shot.
Either way, he accomplished it. So that's a perfect example of that. How unique is the book? I mean, it doesn't have to be a $30,000 book, but it could be something that's unique, like the one that Mark Lineker sent in, which is this this test market book on the left. That's unique. I haven't seen that before. I guarantee you Chris and Dan haven't either. So right there, unique, perfect example. And finally, a story, something that means something to you. What an emotional attachment to the book, something that reminds you of a family member, whatever it is. Give us the story behind it. We'd love to hear that stuff. So those are the three criteria. And guys, post it on Instagram. The most important thing to do, tag hashtag FFTCS. I know there's at least one or two people that didn't do that this week and just DM'd it to us. Not going to work that way. FFTCS, or we will not find it. And you guys will be on Fresh from the Comic Shop for our next show. And speaking of our next show, by the way, we're about to give something away. So stick around. Don't leave right now. But our next show will be April 3rd, Sunday, April 3rd. We are off on Sunday, March 27th. So Fresh from the Comic Shop submission will be on hold until March 28th. We'll remind you again this week. But we love that you guys all are, you all participate. We love it. We love you guys, the audience. We love it. We love you so much. We had we hit over 1,000 subs. If you haven't subbed up, you may as well just do it now. And we have this crazy giveaway that we've been going on for weeks. And Dan De La Torre is here to give away this book, I mean, it's in his hand too, but I like this graphic's awesome that Chris made anyway. Show it off because he worked on it so hard. It took him like 5 hours, right, Chris? Not 5 hours. All right. So this is the actual book that will be sent to the winner here. And what's going to happen is Dan is going to ask a question, and you cannot answer until my voice just cracked, by the way. You cannot answer until you see a line like this. You see this line right here. This doesn't count. This is a sample line. You can't answer until that line. You see that line. We will only accept answers that are below that line. Chris, let's explain the technical aspect here, the delay.
All right. Once again, folks, we are going to pick whoever shows up first on our end. Everyone's internet works a little differently. There could be delays on your guys' end. So once in a while, you guys will see comments pop up differently than how we see them. So when we ask the question and that line drops, it's going to be the first one to answer correctly under that line of what comes in on our end. Okay. We're not, if you see something different, it's not because we're, lying or manipulating the winner or picking and choosing. It's what comes in on our end, folks. You got to just keep that in mind. Okay.
Absolutely. So we are doing our best to make this as fair as possible. And by the way, Mark Leneker has a new name for you, Dan. Dan de la Allegra Fontaine. I don't know why. That just sounds funny to me. All right. Moving on. All right. Are we all ready for this? Who wants to win a book? Who wants to win a book? Who wants to win a book? Now it's going to be your time to win a book, because right now, Dan, I'm about to put this line in here. Man, I wish some people would chat because it's not going to be distinguished from the other line. There we go. Shop Comics. Thank you. All right. Matt Labno wants to win a book. Who else wants to win a book?
There we go.
It's a nice one, too.
Abel Leland as well. All right. Here we go, Dan De La Torre. Let's ask this question. Whoever answers it first will win that gorgeous book. What do we got?
For those that showed up late, and I made the comparison of the X-Men, how they went into reprints after issue 66 because the sales weren't that great. I see something in the Defenders. That's why they should have been as prominent as the X-Men, Fantastic Four, and Avengers. The first 11 issues, in my opinion, were the best by far. Who was the writer for the first issues 1 through 11 of the Defenders?
And here comes the line. Who was the first writer for the first 11 issues of the Defenders? Did I just cut out there for a hot second?
Let's see if I can pull it up here.
360. Len Wein is not correct.
No, that is not correct.
Good try, though. Good try. What do we got, people? People are Googling this shit. I know they are.
Yeah, the Google search engine is falling
Jacob
right now.
Birch. Jacob Birch. Again. Jesus, Jacob Birch.
Do we have a winner?
He did it again.
Yep. On my end, too.
Oops. Sorry.
Nope.
Jacob Birch, you are the winner.
That's it. That is correct.
This guy's a walking library. This is his second win. I mean, that's fair.
Jacob, congratulations. This is now yours. I'll get your contact information from Jeff, and I'll be sending this off in short order. The other thing about Steve Englehart, there are still Silver and Bronze Age writers alive today, and as I've been going through some of the movies of late, in fact, he was even in at the end of the Batman movie. I guess he worked for DC at some point. He is one of those gifted writers that is giving some influence to the movies that are coming on the big screen and on the stream. So as long as those people are still around, you're going to have great content, because again, it's all about the story. The Silver Age beat out DC. The Marvel Silver Age beat out DC back in the 60s. Something thought impossible. Why? The beautiful content of the story and the gorgeous artwork by a number of artists, including Jack Kirby. So content is where it's at. Steve Englehart is one of those people. He's still with us. As long as he's helping out Marvel, we're going to have some great stories and great movies ahead of us. Indeed. By the way, 360 had another great guess. Watlock Finkelstein. That's not true. That is not correct. All right, everybody. That was what an incredible episode, guys. Thank you all for joining us this week. We are off next week. Dan, we can't thank you enough for joining us again, man. We really can't. My pleasure.
For giving out these books as well. It's very humbling. It's very, for me, it's very hard to come off as sincere. I truly mean it. And I just feel like words don't express how grateful I am, how grateful Chris is, and the community as well. I'll speak for the community. But we truly thank you.
Here's a thought, though, because Jeff, you're itching to give me another interview. So since you guys know me already, if you want to come up with some follow-up questions for the next time, if you have me on, we can have some fun with that.
Or you'll allow us to do that on our show to
absolutely. Do
you hear this? Listen to him. He's so gosh, you're so conceited these days. Anyways, we love you. It doesn't matter. The audience, the community loves you as well. I was saying you're like a bridge to all of these shows. You're this personality that's on all of these shows, that participates in all of these shows. We can't thank you enough. Y'all, we can't thank you enough. Chris, any parting words for this week?
Man, enjoy next Sunday without us. But, a lot of stuff you can watch on the Rewind, past shows. I will be live this Friday I took Friday Night Live off 2 days ago this week. So catch me next Friday for Friday Night Live on my channel. We're going to have a great show. Not too sure about the topic as of yet. And then the following Friday, I have my next Whatnot live sale. It's going to be Friday, the first April Fools, but there's going to be no fooling when it comes to the sale. Guys, if you're not following me on Whatnot, follow me at Journos Comics. I add inventory to my sale every day. So what you can do, you can go find the sale that's scheduled for the first, click in it, click the little tag button, and go through all of my inventory. And most of it is available for buy it now. You can secure it and purchase books even before the sale. So I'll see you guys there in less than 2 weeks. And then in 2 weeks from tonight, back on the can and giving away some more stuff.
Real quick, Jacob Merch, does Dan have a YouTube? He does not. He refuses to create a YouTube channel, even though he probably would do very well. So just want to throw that out there. Real quick, again, our most precious commodity is time. We appreciate y'all spending time with us. Again, be good to yourselves this week. Be good to others. And we will see you Sunday, April 3rd. Until then, peace.